Little piece of a sweater. That'll be exciting to see.
Let's take a look at a Yes song, Dave.
It is your favorite band.
It is, and I'm still trying to work you up to getting Awaken done in the not too distant future. So we're going to ease you in again. We're going to take you to a song that Yes saw as kind of a way to say in your face.
To who?
I'll tell you who. So the song is called Going for the One.
Going for the one. I will crank it up. What? What is this? All right. Interesting. Why did it sound straight country when it first started? Like, that was wild.
Country?
I mean, it had a twang. It had like a steel guitar opening practically. It had a solid twang.
It is a steel guitar, and I guess you're right to ascribe that to a country sound. But the way Steve Howe plays it, it's a little more on the rock and almost like a keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the sound itself, I think, is hard to not ascribe that. It's like when you hear an accordion, I immediately think it's polka, and it doesn't matter what you're playing. It's an accordion, and I want it to be polka. So, man, that song was wild.
So in '74, they released this album called Relayer, right? The album has 3 songs on it.
That's
One
it?
album side is a song, 2 songs on the other album side.
I assume long songs.
All long form songs, right? That's typical Yes fashion up to that point, right? They had just done the double record with 4 songs, 1 song on each album side, and all that. So anyway, Billboard magazine and Melody Maker magazine gave the album high marks, okay, with one journalist or critic summarizing it. Relayer is one of the most successful and satisfying Yes albums. But then there's the ever hateful Rolling Stones magazine that in 1975, the June 19th, 1975 issue of their magazine said the following about Yes Relayer album. Catch these quotes. Pretentious balderdash no matter how you stack it. 2. Relayer may exhaust even the devoted.
Well then.
Despite occasional enjoyable interludes, is an excessive, pretentious, and ill-conceived album. The folly of Yes's extreme approach is becoming only too apparent.
That's pretty solid. That is some real hate
people,
right there.
Yeah, Rolling Stone hates progressive music. Period. That's why I have only visited the Hall of Fame once, and I'm not sure I'm going to go again. Even though they finally loosened the belt a little bit, and they allowed Rush to go in, and Genesis, and Yes. This is all like after the fact to me. Like, this should have been from the beginning, but that's another issue. They're just a bunch of snobs. Other people in the press pleaded for the band just put out an accessible rock and roll record. So the band's answer to all that clamor, in my opinion, was to start the next album with a flaming rocker, a la Yes. Coming off of the Trippy Dippy Relayer album, I'm sure I could see the eyes rolling as the guy at Rolling Stone magazine looks at his desks of critics and holds up the new Yes album. All right, who wants to take this one? Then
it just starts with that. I think the song was about, lyrically, I'll start there. I think the song is about getting a #1 hit. I think that's what To One means. I also think that a lot of the lyrics are complete and utter nonsense. And like, this is saying something because it's Yes. And I've heard enough Yes. I've been introduced to enough Yes and enough of your comments backing this claim up that a lot of the time these lyrics are written just so that they go along with the music, not because they mean anything necessarily. But I can still usually suss something out of it. In this case, I think most of it's wackadoodle until you hit about like the half to 2/3 mark. And he starts talking about like, yeah, I've just been saying stuff so far. Is this what you wanted? You wanted a rock song? Is this what you wanted? Fine. We'll get a #1 song. Like, it's almost like he's just goading them on. But up until that point, it was sort of just wackadoodle nonsense designed to just go along with the song. That's really what I read out of this.
Okay. Well, this is the exception for me in lyrics and song. This song so impressed me the first time I heard it. First of all, I was not expecting Yes to come in with a rousing slide guitar.
No, and I will say there's a lot going on in it too. Very classical Yes style. There's a lot that happens in this song, right and left, and time signatures and different music and so I have this blind in the front of this house, and it's one of those blinds that you can put down from the top, and it's like just cracked, right? So I could have more light, and the line is just right here, and it's all I see when I go up and down.
Try not to focus on that, Dave.
I'll go change it for
All
the
right.
next video. Anyway, it definitely has a lot going on musically, and it was a ton of fun, but I wouldn't have immediately said it was yes until the lyrics started.
Until John's voice came in. Right?
And then very unmistakable at this point.
Yeah, Rick Wakeman had left the band prior to Relayer, and he came back on this one.
Okay.
So, Yes fans hadn't seen Rick Wakeman on a studio album since '72 or something like that. So this was kind of a big deal. Rick came back, and he is boogie woogieing his butt off on an acoustic grand piano all the way through that song.
I do love an acoustic grand piano in really anything, especially rock. I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of the reasons I like Queen. A lot of their songs, that's what you get. So, yeah, that was really well done. I mean, the song itself was a ton of fun. Like, that was a just fun song to listen to. And I say the same thing about movies sometimes. I think critics especially lose touch with the fact that this is an entertainment medium. The point of this is for me to escape from my life for a short period of time and enjoy myself. And if the piece of art in question does that, whether it's I can quote every plot point that's about to happen, Avatar 2, Way of the Water, Walker, whatever that movie is called, or it's some, fancy art piece in black and white, if it entertains me, it is good, period. And that is sort of how I feel about music. If I had fun listening to it, if I enjoyed the experience, then it is good. And I don't care if some critic says it's terrible or it's trash, or very lyrically and in fun ways says it's trash. It was good. It was good to me, and I don't care. I'm just gonna enjoy it. That's how I feel
Fair
about
enough. But like I say, when I first heard it, it was so far removed from everything. Yes, but it was just so neat. I actually pulled the album sleeve, the liner sleeve, and I actually studied the lyrics to this song.
it. Really?
And they at first perplexed me quite a bit, as well, is obvious. But eventually, I came to a meaning.
Did you?
Yes, even from the beginning. Now, granted, he does throw in some words in there that you kind of have to, like, if you're threading the story together, there's a cloth over in the living room. Let me just go and grab that and make that a part of the story. Some of those words you have to really reach to bring them in.
Like his
But to me,
sports
the
play?
overarching story is that life is a chase. That life, it's the rat race chase. And that, in one of the visuals, you can kind of imagine he is riding up a mountain on a horse. And then he is racing with, downstream in a boat, like almost like rapids. And all of it, though, is leading to what you should be your ultimate goal of love.
Oh, you think this is a love song?
I think it is a connection and love song. It starts out with everybody's chasing something, and it ends pointing everybody back to love and connection.
I freely accept that as an interpretation.
Well, thank you. That's my interpretation, and every 10th Yes fan will have a much different interpretation than mine, I'm certain.
That's my favorite. You know what? That makes me like Yes even more, because it's just nebulous and you could all argue about it, and that's more fun to me. It almost like, in a weird way, promotes a lot of fan collaboration and connection, because you want to have that argument with someone about what you think it means. And not argument in a bad way, argument in a fun way.
Sure.
And I really like that, actually, about the medium itself, and that there would be these arguments about what this means. And then Yes doesn't just come out and be like, oh yeah, this means this. They generally are like, it just is.
It could mean that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Maybe.
It's like postmodern art, but good. Oh, there's my hot take.
That's the end?